When we think about procrastination, we often picture the classic image of a student cramming for an exam at the last minute or someone choosing to scroll through social media instead of completing a critical task. But what if I told you that procrastination is much more complex than just poor time management? Today, we'll dive deep into the psychology behind procrastination and explore why we do it. Procrastination doesn't stem solely from laziness or lack of willpower. Researchers at the University of Calgary have found that it's closely linked to emotional regulation. People often delay tasks because they associate them with negative feelings. Fear of failure, anxiety, or even perfectionism can all lead to putting things off. In fact, a study published in the journal Psychological Science found that procrastinators often struggle to manage their emotions effectively. They tend to avoid situations that cause distress, preferring the temporary relief of avoiding the task altogether. This avoidance creates a cycle. More stress leads to more procrastination, which leads to even more stress. Consider this: Ariana Huffington, founder of the Huffington Post, has spoken openly about her struggles with procrastination. In her early career, she often found herself paralyzed by the fear of judgment and failure, choosing instead to avoid her tasks. It wasn't until a personal crisis, collapsing from exhaustion, that she realized she needed to change her approach. But how deep does this avoidance go? A survey conducted by the American Psychological Association revealed that a staggering 20% of adults identify themselves as chronic procrastinators. That's millions of individuals who experience stress, guilt, and frustration on a regular basis due to their procrastination. This leads us to question the root cause of our procrastination. Some researchers argue it may even be embedded in our biology. A neuroimaging study found that procrastination activates different areas of the brain compared to when we make decisions and take action. This suggests that, at its core, procrastination might be linked to our instinctual fight-or-flight response. When faced with a daunting task, our brains perceive it as a threat, triggering avoidance behaviors. Now, let's explore a personal story that illustrates this concept. Meet Tom, a software engineer who had ambitious goals for his career. Each day, however, Tom found himself scrolling through job boards instead of applying for positions. As deadlines loomed over him, he felt increasingly anxious and overwhelmed. Tom's procrastination was driven by a deep-seated fear of rejection. He thought, what if they don't like my application, or what if I'm not qualified enough? His mind spiraled into negative thoughts, which only compounded his avoidance. But through therapy, Tom learned that confronting these fears was the key to breaking free from his procrastination cycle. He began setting small, attainable goals and seeking support from friends, slowly building his confidence. Understanding the complex tapestry of procrastination is the first step to overcoming it. Next, we'll uncover the compelling science behind procrastination and how it impacts our lives. Stay with us as we delve into Chapter 2, The Science of Procrastination, where we'll reveal astonishing facts about the brain and what true motivation looks like. As we delve deeper into procrastination, it's crucial to understand the scientific principles that underpin this challenging behavior. Now that we know procrastination isn't just about laziness, let's explore what's happening inside our minds and bodies when we delay action. First, let's talk about dopamine, a neurotransmitter that plays a significant role in how we feel pleasure. It's often referred to as the feel-good chemical because it motivates us to engage in rewarding activities, such as eating our favorite food or achieving a goal. However, the relationship between dopamine and procrastination is quite complex. Research suggests that procrastinators may seek quick dopamine hits through distractions rather than working on tasks that could provide long-term satisfaction. This creates a cycle of temporary pleasure followed by guilt and anxiety. A study by Dr. Piers Steele, a leading researcher on procrastination at the University of Calgary, showed that individuals with lower self-regulation tend to procrastinate more. Interestingly, Dr. Steele proposed the temporal motivation theory, which suggests that people procrastinate because they evaluate the value of their tasks in relation to how soon they need to complete them. The further away a deadline, the less motivated they feel. This means that our brain often prioritizes short-term rewards over long-term goals, a behavior that is not unique to just procrastinators but is common across a wide range of individuals. Furthermore, researchers have found that the concept of time perception can also contribute to procrastination. In one study, participants were asked to complete tasks with different deadlines. Those who perceived the deadlines as distant often failed to start the task until it was nearly due. This aligns perfectly with our human tendency to underestimate the time it takes to complete tasks, a phenomenon known as the planning fallacy. One powerful example of this is the famous case of the Brooklyn Bridge construction. The project, which was initially estimated to take just 5 years, ended up taking 14 years to complete, due to numerous unforeseen challenges. This illustrates that when we misjudge time, we set ourselves up for failure, allowing procrastination to take root. But let's not forget about perfectionism, which is another significant factor influencing procrastination. Studies show that perfectionists often put off tasks because they are afraid of not meeting their high standards. They feel overwhelmed by the idea that they must produce flawless work, which can lead to avoidance behavior. This was the case for Sarah, a talented writer who struggled with chronic procrastination. She would spend hours revising a single sentence, consumed by the fear that her writing would never be good enough. It wasn't until she participated in a workshop that encouraged her to embrace imperfection that she began to tackle her procrastination. By setting realistic goals and focusing on the process rather than the outcome, Sarah learned to write without the paralyzing fear of perfection. Understanding the psychology and neuroscience behind procrastination allows us to devise effective strategies to combat it. But how do we put this knowledge into action? In Chapter 3, we will explore practical techniques rooted in science that can help us overcome procrastination once and for all. Join us as we uncover actionable solutions in Chapter 3, Strategies to Overcome Procrastination. Now that we've explored the inner workings of procrastination and its psychological origins, it's time to turn our attention to solutions. Here, we'll discuss actionable strategies that anyone can implement to overcome procrastination and move toward their goals. One of the most effective strategies is breaking tasks into smaller, manageable parts. This approach is rooted in cognitive behavioral therapy. By lowering the barriers to starting a task, we significantly reduce our chances of procrastination. For instance, if you have a large project due in a month, break it into smaller milestones. Let's reflect on the experience of Jessica, an entrepreneur who faced overwhelming pressure while launching her new business. Instead of viewing her project as one massive endeavor, she decided to break it down. Day 1 was dedicated to market research, Day 2 to creating a business plan, and so forth. By the time she completed her first milestone, she felt a sense of accomplishment that motivated her to keep going. Developing a clear and concrete plan also plays a significant role in combating procrastination. Setting specific deadlines for each milestone creates a sense of urgency and accountability. You can even use productivity tools or apps like Trello or Asana that help you visualize your progress. Consider the Pomodoro technique, a popular time management strategy that encourages you to work for 25 minutes followed by a 5-minute break. This method effectively helps many people maintain focus and stay productive, while the built-in breaks reduce burnout and keep motivation levels high. Another essential strategy is to eliminate distractions. In our hyper-connected world, it's easier than ever to fall prey to distractions, whether it's your smartphone, social media notifications, or even background noise. Creating an environment conducive to concentration is vital. This could mean setting up a dedicated workspace, turning off notifications, or using apps that block distracting sites. One powerful example comes from a study conducted by the University of California, Irvine, which found that the average office worker switches tasks or gets interrupted every 3 minutes. This constant switching decreases productivity and increases procrastination. By creating a focused environment, you can improve your ability to concentrate significantly. Let's not overlook the importance of self-compassion in this journey. Many times, we beat ourselves up for procrastinating, leading to a vicious cycle of guilt and avoidance. However, practicing self-compassion can help you address your procrastination in a healthier way. Instead of saying, "I'm such a failure for not doing this," try to reframe your thoughts. "I'm human, I make mistakes, but I can learn from this." This concept resonates strongly with Dr. Kristin Neff, a pioneer in self-compassion research. Her studies show that individuals who practice self-compassion are more likely to embrace challenges and overcome obstacles. Lastly, let's explore the power of accountability. Sharing your goals with others or finding an accountability partner can dramatically reduce procrastination. When you know someone else is aware of your goals, you're more likely to follow through, as the external pressure creates motivation. Kate, a university student, achieved this by sharing her assignment goals with a friend. They checked in weekly, and the mere act of accountability pushed Kate to tackle her work head-on instead of succumbing to procrastination. As we've seen, the strategies to overcome procrastination are multifaceted. It takes more than just willpower, it requires a combination of planning, self-compassion, and accountability. Join us in Chapter 4, where we'll explore inspiring stories of those who have conquered procrastination and turned their lives around. These real-life examples will illustrate the transformative power of overcoming this common hurdle. As we explore the journey of overcoming procrastination, it's important to know that you are not alone. Many individuals have faced this challenge and emerged stronger and more successful. In this chapter, we'll share inspiring stories that demonstrate the transformative power of commitment and change. Let's start with the remarkable story of Tim Ferriss, the best-selling author of The 4-Hour Workweek. Tim was once an extreme procrastinator, particularly in his writing. He faced a daunting inner critic that instilled a fear of inadequacy in him. For years, he struggled to finish his book, often putting it off despite his desire to share his insights. His turning point came when he realized that he was allowing perfectionism to cripple his progress. Instead of aiming for a flawless draft, he adopted a mindset of progress over perfection. Tim began writing every day, focusing on quantity instead of quality. He set a goal of writing 2,000 words a day, understanding that he could edit later. This shift in perspective led to the completion of his book and its subsequent success. Next, we have the story of a college student named Emma, who struggled with procrastination throughout her academic career. She often found herself overwhelmed by her course load, leading to all-nighters and subpar grades. Frustrated, Emma enrolled in a time management seminar at her university. Through this experience, she learned to prioritize tasks and use techniques like time blocking to structure her days. With newfound confidence, Emma tackled her studies strategically. She began to break down larger projects into smaller chunks, making them less intimidating. By the end of the semester, she not only improved her grades but also her overall well-being, feeling more in control of her academic life. Another inspiring case is that of Jerry Seinfeld, the legendary comedian who is known for his writing routine. In his early years, Seinfeld struggled with procrastination, often finding himself distracted by less important tasks. To combat this, he developed a simple yet effective strategy, the "don't break the chain" method. Every day, he would write jokes and mark a big red X on his calendar. After a few days of consistency, he had a chain of X's. The visual representation of his progress motivated him to keep going. Seinfeld's commitment to daily writing helped him hone his craft and ultimately led to his immense success in the comedy scene. His story highlights the power of habit and consistency in overcoming procrastination. Finally, let's reflect on the journey of a young woman named Lisa, who faced debilitating procrastination due to anxiety. Lisa often postponed tasks, fearing that she wouldn't meet her own expectations. Through therapy and support groups, she discovered the importance of setting realistic goals and developing a healthy routine. By setting small, achievable targets and sharing her progress with friends, Lisa learned to celebrate her victories, no matter how small. With each accomplishment, her confidence grew, allowing her to face her fears head-on. Today, Lisa is successfully running her own business, a far cry from the days of constant procrastination. These inspiring stories remind us that overcoming procrastination is indeed possible. With determination, the right strategies, and support, anyone can break free from the grips of procrastination and create a fulfilling life. In Chapter 5, we'll explore the connection between mindset and procrastination, a powerful link that can determine success. As we approach the conclusion of our exploration into overcoming procrastination, it's essential to recognize the profound impact mindset has on our ability to take action. How we perceive challenges, setbacks, and our own capabilities can drastically influence our success in overcoming procrastination. Research indicates that adopting a growth mindset, believing that abilities and intelligence can be developed, can help individuals confront and overcome procrastination effectively. This concept was popularized by psychologist Carol Dweck, who found that individuals who embrace a growth mindset are more resilient and motivated to face challenges, including procrastination. For instance, consider the experience of John, a high school student who's always struggled with mathematics. In the past, he'd often give up when faced with difficult concepts, leading to poor grades. After attending a workshop on growth mindset, John began to see his challenges as opportunities for learning rather than indicators of failure. By changing his perspective, he became motivated to practice math daily, leading to significant improvement. Another key aspect of mindset is understanding our why, the deeper purpose behind our goals. When we connect our tasks to meaningful values and aspirations, we're more likely to stay committed. For example, Jessica found herself procrastinating on her fitness journey until she realized that her true motivation lay in wanting to be healthy for her children. This profound connection propelled her to take action and make long-term changes. Moreover, cultivating a positive self-talk can reinforce our mindset. Often, we're our harshest critics, breeding negativity that fosters procrastination. Instead of saying, "I'll never get this done," try reframing it as, "I am capable of making progress, one step at a time." This shift in dialogue not only bolsters motivation but also helps reduce anxiety associated with tasks. In his book, The War of Art, Stephen Pressfield discusses the concept of resistance, the internal forces that prevent us from pursuing our creative endeavors. Pressfield argues that recognizing resistance is the first step toward overcoming it. By acknowledging our procrastination as a form of resistance, we can confront it head-on and push through the discomfort. As we conclude this chapter, let's look at an anecdote that perfectly illustrates the connection between mindset and procrastination. A woman named Rachel faced significant writer's block as she pursued her dream of becoming a novelist. Each time she sat down to write, fears of inadequacy would flood her mind, causing her to procrastinate. It wasn't until Rachel began practicing mindfulness and meditation that she realized her thoughts were merely barriers to her creativity. With a newfound sense of calm, she gradually confronted her fears. Rachel implemented daily writing rituals, gradually restoring her love for storytelling. Her shift in mindset, seeing challenges as opportunities rather than threats, enabled her to break free from procrastination and finish her novel. The interplay between mindset and procrastination is a powerful reminder that change starts within. As we move forward, consider how your mindset shapes your approach to challenges and setbacks. In our next chapter, we'll wrap up this documentary with actionable takeaways and a final perspective on overcoming procrastination that can guide you in your journey. Have you ever noticed how your surroundings impact your productivity? The environment in which we work can either fuel our motivation or stifle it entirely. Our ability to focus is often compromised by clutter, distractions, and the overall vibe of a space. Studies indicate that a disorganized workspace can lead to feelings of anxiety and overwhelm, which in turn can trigger procrastination. For instance, a study published in the journal Psychological Science found that participants working in tidy spaces were significantly more productive compared to those in messy environments. One participant shared how she transformed her home office from a chaotic mess into a serene workspace with plants and minimal distractions. This simple change not only enhanced her focus but also invigorated her creativity, making her more inclined to tackle tasks rather than procrastinate. But let's dig deeper into how our environment influences our behavior. The concept of nudge theory comes from behavioral economics and suggests that subtle environmental changes can lead individuals to make better choices. For instance, placing your most important tasks at eye level can provide that gentle nudge you need to prioritize what truly matters. Similarly, decluttering your digital space can lead to clearer thinking. A cluttered computer desktop can mirror a cluttered mind, making it hard to concentrate. Moreover, social environments play a significant role in our productivity. Have you ever felt more motivated in the presence of driven individuals? According to a study conducted by the University of Connecticut, people are likely to work harder when they're in a group that emphasizes collective achievement. In this chapter, we'll explore stories from individuals who made conscious changes to their environments and witnessed a dramatic decrease in procrastination. Think of John, a software developer, who transformed his work-from-home setup by relocating his desk to face a window instead of a wall. This minor modification made him feel more connected to the world, and he reported a marked reduction in distractions and an increase in productivity. Remember, every small change can have a ripple effect. As we navigate through this chapter, consider how your environment shapes your habits and what adjustments you can make. What will your workspace say about you? As we move to the next chapter, let's reflect on the importance of setting boundaries within our surroundings and how those boundaries can shield us from procrastination's grasp. Procrastination is more than just poor time management, it often has roots in our mental health. Anxiety, depression, and low self-esteem can all contribute to a cycle of procrastination that feels inescapable. Understanding this connection is crucial for anyone looking to break free from the procrastination habit. Research shows that individuals struggling with anxiety often find themselves procrastinating on tasks, not necessarily because they lack ability, but because the fear of failure looms large. A study from the University of Zurich revealed that people suffering from anxiety were more likely to procrastinate, with anxiety levels correlating highly with task avoidance behaviors. Consider Sarah, a college student who faced intense pressure to perform academically. Her anxiety spiraled as deadlines approached, leading her to postpone her assignments in an attempt to avoid the overwhelming feeling of inadequacy. However, as she sought counseling, she learned techniques to manage her anxiety, transforming her approach to tasks. Therapists often suggest mindfulness and cognitive behavioral strategies as effective methods to combat the anxiety that fuels procrastination. Mindfulness practices can help ground us, allowing us to face our tasks with a clearer mindset, while cognitive behavioral strategies can reframe negative thoughts that lead to avoidance. Moreover, the stigma surrounding mental health can exacerbate procrastination. Many feel ashamed or embarrassed about their struggles and may avoid tasks that could lead to exposure of those vulnerabilities. Breaking this stigma is essential not only for self-improvement but also for fostering supportive environments in schools and workplaces. Through real-life testimonials, we will hear from individuals who have faced similar battles with mental health and procrastination. By understanding their journeys, we can discover the intersection between mental wellness and productivity. As we wrap up this chapter, reflect on your own mental health and how it impacts your productivity. Are there underlying issues contributing to your procrastination? In the next chapter, we'll explore technology's role in fueling and fighting this modern-day plague. In our hyper-connected world, technology has become both the greatest ally and worst enemy in the fight against procrastination. Our devices, while incredibly useful, often distract us from the tasks we need to accomplish. Social media notifications, binge-watching streaming services, and endless rabbit holes of information can lead us far away from our goals. A study by the Pew Research Center revealed that nearly 70% of people believe that technology and social media contribute to their procrastination. But it's not just about being distracted, it's also about how we use technology. Let's consider the story of Mark, a freelance graphic designer. Mark initially found himself losing hours scrolling through social media while he put off projects. Determined to reclaim his time, he turned his phone into a productivity tool. He used apps to limit his social media time, block distracting websites, and even set reminders for deep work sessions. His story exemplifies how technology can shift from a procrastination tool to a productivity booster when used wisely. There are myriad applications designed to help manage time and tasks more effectively. For instance, the Pomodoro technique utilizes timers to break work into intervals, enhancing focus during work periods and allowing for restful breaks. This technique has been scientifically shown to improve productivity and decrease procrastination. In this chapter, we'll delve deeper into specific productivity apps, explore their features, and hear from users who have successfully implemented these tools into their routines. As we draw closer to the end of this documentary, consider your relationship with technology. Are you using it to achieve your goals, or is it pulling you away from them? Next, we'll uncover the importance of accountability in overcoming procrastination. Accountability can be a powerful weapon against procrastination. When we share our goals with others, we create a network of support and encouragement that can push us to take action. This chapter explores how accountability partners, coaches, and even online communities can help us stay on track. Research has shown that people are more likely to achieve their goals when they have someone holding them accountable. According to a study in the American Journal of Lifestyle Medicine, those who share their goals with a support group are 33% more likely to achieve them than individuals who keep their goals to themselves. Take the story of Emma, who struggled to maintain her fitness regimen. After joining a local running club, she found herself not only enjoying the activity more but also feeling a sense of responsibility to her fellow runners. Knowing that others were counting on her attendance provided the motivation she needed to push through the days she felt like giving up. Accountability doesn't have to come from a group, it can also stem from a single person, a friend, mentor, or coach who checks in on your progress. In the age of the internet, countless online platforms allow individuals to connect with others pursuing similar goals. Virtual accountability buddies have become increasingly popular, with promising results. Together, we'll uncover the mechanisms behind effective accountability frameworks and hear from people who transformed their lives through accountability. Reflect on who in your life can help hold you accountable. Are you ready to leverage the power of community to combat your procrastination? As we prepare to conclude, let's explore actionable steps you can take to finally break free from procrastination. As we reach the final chapter of our documentary, it's time to distill everything we've learned into actionable steps. Overcoming procrastination is not an overnight journey, it requires commitment and strategy. Let's review some practical tools to help you take immediate action. First, start with identifying your why. Understanding the deeper motivation behind your goals can provide clarity and direction. Write down your goals and the reasons they matter to you. Reflect regularly on this. It can serve as a beacon when temptation strikes. Next, break tasks into smaller, manageable pieces. Research shows that people are more prone to start a project when it feels achievable. Instead of overwhelming yourself with a daunting task, create a checklist of smaller goals that lead to the larger objective. This method can significantly reduce procrastination pressure. Consider the techniques discussed throughout this series, like the Pomodoro technique or environmental adjustments. Experiment with these strategies to see what resonates with you. Remember, everyone has unique triggers for procrastination, and finding your personal solution is key. Additionally, cultivate a growth mindset. As you face challenges, remind yourself that failure is a stepping stone to success. Embrace mistakes as opportunities to learn rather than reasons to procrastinate further. Research, including work from psychologist Carol Dweck, underscores that those with a growth mindset are more resilient and less prone to procrastination. Finally, embrace accountability. Whether through a partner, a coach, or an online community, sharing your goals can provide the extra push to overcome inertia. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. As we close the chapter on procrastination, let's ignite a new beginning filled with ambition and action. What will you do today to set your commitments in motion? Reflect on the steps you've learned, and remember that the fight against procrastination is a marathon, not a sprint. Every effort counts. Thank you for joining us in exploring the intricacies of procrastination. Our hope is that you can reflect, learn, and grow toward a more productive future. Procrastination isn't merely about poor time management, it often roots itself in something much deeper: fear. Fear can paralyze even the most motivated individuals, leading them to avoid tasks that loom ahead. It's this emotional undercurrent that can turn a simple task into a mountain of anxiety. To illustrate this, let's delve into the story of 28-year-old Sarah, a graphic designer who found herself repeatedly postponing a crucial project for her client. She had the skills, the resources, and the time. So why did she fail to meet her deadlines? The answer lies in her fear of failure. Each time she sat down to work, the thought of not meeting her own high standards haunted her. Procrastination, in this case, became her escape mechanism. Rather than confront her fear, she chose to delay, hoping that inspiration would strike later. This is not an uncommon scenario. In fact, a study by the American Psychological Association found that approximately 20% of adults identify themselves as chronic procrastinators. Moreover, studies show that fear is a significant predictor of procrastination behavior. Fear of failure, fear of success, and even fear of judgment can lead individuals to postpone tasks. For instance, a research paper published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology highlights how fear of success can create a paradox. Individuals might procrastinate on tasks that could lead to greater achievements due to the pressure that comes with those outcomes. Recognizing and confronting these fears is a crucial first step in overcoming procrastination. A technique many psychologists advocate is cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, which helps individuals reframe their negative thoughts into manageable challenges. By labeling tasks as opportunities rather than threats, one can begin to dismantle the grasp that fear has on their productivity. For Sarah, embracing this mindset was transformative. Instead of focusing on the consequences of a potential failure, she started to view her projects as learning experiences. She created a structured plan with smaller, achievable goals, tackling each segment of her work with confidence. This chapter highlights an essential realization: fear can be a powerful barrier but also a catalyst for change when understood. As we move into the next chapter, we'll explore another critical factor influencing our productivity: the role of perfectionism, which often fuels procrastination just as much as fear does. Perfectionism often lurks in the shadows of procrastination, masquerading as a desire for excellence. While striving for high standards can be motivating, it can also be debilitating. The irony is that the very drive to be perfect can lead to a paralysis that prevents action. Consider the case of 34-year-old Tom, an aspiring author who spent over 3 years trying to write his debut novel. His story was compelling, but Tom couldn't shake the feeling that it wasn't good enough. Each time he sat down to write, he found himself editing the same paragraph over and over, convinced that it had to be flawless before he could move on. This relentless pursuit of perfection turned writing into a source of anxiety rather than a creative outlet. Research from the University of California shows that perfectionists are more likely to procrastinate because they fear that their work will never meet their standards. They often wait for the perfect moment or the perfect conditions to start a project, which rarely occurs. In fact, a study in the journal Personality and Individual Differences found that perfectionism correlates strongly with procrastination in various domains, including academics and work projects. To combat this, experts recommend a simple yet effective strategy: setting realistic and achievable goals. By allowing for imperfections and celebrating progress over perfection, individuals can break the cycle of procrastination. Tom, after realizing this, dedicated 1 hour daily to writing without the self-imposed pressure of perfection. He embraced the idea of a rough draft, understanding that the first version could be refined later. This shift in mindset led to significant progress. Within months, he completed his novel. Releasing his grip on perfection allowed Tom to enjoy the writing process and reclaim his creativity. By confronting perfectionism, you too can find a path forward, breaking free from the bonds of procrastination. Next, we'll explore how understanding your personal motivations can further enhance your ability to overcome procrastination. The journey to overcoming procrastination is unique for everyone, and at the heart of this journey lies personal motivation. Understanding what truly drives you can be the turning point in your battle against delaying tasks. Let's explore this concept through the story of Lisa, a marketing executive who found herself stuck in a cycle of procrastination regarding a major presentation. Despite being talented and knowledgeable, Lisa often left her slide deck until the last minute, causing unnecessary stress. The catalyst for change came when a colleague asked her why she avoided starting early. This simple question led Lisa to reflect on her motivations. She realized that she was driven not just by the desire to succeed but by the wish to impress her peers and gain recognition. This realization was both liberating and daunting. Lisa decided to shift her focus from external validation to internal satisfaction. By reminding herself of her passion for marketing and her goal of becoming a leader in her field, she began to find her motivation. Instead of fearing judgment, Lisa started to approach her presentation as an opportunity to share her insights. Studies support the idea that intrinsic motivation increases productivity and reduces procrastination. A landmark study conducted at the University of Rochester found that individuals motivated by personal growth and achievement tend to perform better than those driven by rewards or fear. To harness this power, consider what genuinely excites you about your tasks. Creating a personal mission statement can solidify your motivations and serve as a guide during challenging times. After adopting this perspective, Lisa transformed her work ethic, consistently starting her presentations early. By focusing on personal motivation rather than external pressures, she was able to create compelling presentations that resonated with her audience. In our next chapter, we will explore another fascinating aspect of procrastination: how the concept of time perception can either hinder or help your productivity. Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff, looking down at an expansive valley of missed opportunities. Procrastination is that cliff, and it leads us to a place where we often wonder, what if? Procrastination can be a silent assassin of dreams, ambitions, and goals. Despite knowing its damaging effects, we often find ourselves caught in its web. According to a study by the American Psychological Association, about 20% of adults identify themselves as chronic procrastinators, and this can lead to increased stress, anxiety, and even depression. Let's explore the profound impact procrastination can have on various aspects of life, including career, relationships, and personal growth. In the professional realm, procrastination can be self-sabotage. Consider the case of Emily, a talented graphic designer who always pushes her deadlines. Emily thinks she works better under pressure, but the truth is that her last-minute rush compromises the quality of her work. One day, she missed a crucial deadline for a major client project, resulting in a significant loss of revenue for her company. This incident not only tarnished her reputation but also led to increased stress and anxiety, a common cycle for chronic procrastinators. Research indicates that procrastination can hinder career advancement. In a 2014 study published in the Journal of Business Research, employees who procrastinated were perceived as less trustworthy by their peers, leading to damaged relationships and decreased productivity. The usual excuses, "I work better under pressure" or "I'll get to it later," may feel comfortable, but they often lead to lost opportunities. Have you ever missed a chance because you hesitated too long? On a deeper level, procrastination can affect personal relationships, creating tension and misunderstandings. Imagine the scenario of a partner constantly putting off planning a special event, like a birthday party. The other partner may feel unimportant or neglected, leading to friction. In a study published in the Journal of Social Psychology, it was found that procrastination is linked to lower relationship satisfaction because it can lead to feelings of disappointment and resentment. Then there's the impact on personal growth. Procrastination stunts our ability to learn and develop new skills. Think about a skill you've wanted to master but haven't pursued due to procrastination. Perhaps it's learning a new language or picking up an instrument. These desires often fade away in the shadow of procrastination. A 2016 survey revealed that nearly 50% of people regret not pursuing their passions sooner due to procrastination. Ultimately, procrastination can become a habit, a cycle of avoidance and regret. The cost of our inaction is often greater than the discomfort of taking action. Shift your focus and recognize the long-term consequences of procrastination. What would you do if you knew that every action you failed to take today would haunt you tomorrow? The journey of overcoming procrastination begins with understanding its profound impact on your life. Procrastination is often misunderstood as simple laziness or lack of motivation. However, it is a complex psychological behavior characterized by a cyclical pattern. To truly overcome procrastination, we must first dissect the cycle that perpetuates it. Let's delve into the elements that comprise the procrastination cycle: emotional triggers, avoidance behaviors, and feelings of guilt or anxiety. The cycle typically starts with a task that evokes negative emotions such as fear, anxiety, or even boredom. Take the example of someone staring at a blank page, hoping to write a novel. The weight of the expectation creates pressure. You may think, what if my writing isn't good enough? This fear leads to avoidance behaviors, often manifesting in distractions. For many, it's checking social media or watching videos instead of facing the daunting task ahead. Research indicates that 70% of people use distractions as a coping mechanism to avoid challenging tasks. As the avoidance continues, it creates a temporary relief from the initial anxiety, but this relief is short-lived. Herein lies the crux of the cycle. With ongoing procrastination, feelings of guilt and self-blame begin to surface. The individual may tell themselves, "I should be doing better." This internal dialogue breeds shame, and in an attempt to escape these feelings, they may procrastinate even further, a vicious cycle. This illustrates a critical psychological aspect of procrastination. It's not just about time management, it's about emotional management. Let's analyze the procrastination cycle with the story of Alex, a university student. Alex faces multiple deadlines for project submissions. Feeling overwhelmed, he decides to binge a show instead of studying. His avoidance temporarily eases his stress but returns in spades when he realizes the deadline is approaching. As guilt builds, he may feel compelled to cram, leading to subpar work. This cycle perpetuates each term, reinforcing a negative pattern that's hard to break. Understanding this cycle is crucial for breaking free from it. Cognitive behavioral strategies suggest identifying the emotional triggers that spark procrastination. By recognizing these triggers, individuals can reframe their thoughts and develop healthier coping mechanisms. Instead of succumbing to the cycle, one can engage in self-compassion, acknowledging that everyone faces challenges. Moreover, awareness of the procrastination cycle empowers individuals to introduce small, manageable tasks to disrupt it. Breaking tasks into smaller pieces reduces the intimidation factor and helps to build momentum. Rather than thinking about writing an entire book, focus on writing one page. Celebrate these small victories, they can break the cycle of guilt and fear. Ultimately, by understanding the procrastination cycle, we can equip ourselves with the tools necessary for change. It's not about eliminating procrastination entirely, but learning to navigate and manage it effectively, creating a path toward progress. What small step can you take today to disrupt your own procrastination cycle? Understanding procrastination is one thing, but taking actionable steps to combat it is another. One vital strategy for overcoming procrastination is effective goal setting. Goals act as a roadmap, guiding us through life's challenges and providing clarity amidst chaos. But not all goals are created equal. In this chapter, we'll look at the principles of SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, and how they can help you overcome procrastination. First, let's break down what SMART goals entail. A specific goal clearly defines the outcome, leaving no ambiguity. For instance, instead of saying, "I want to lose weight," a specific goal would be, "I want to lose 10 pounds in the next 3 months." This specificity provides clear direction and purpose. Research shows that specific goals significantly increase the likelihood of achieving them. Next, we have measurable goals. It's important to track your progress to stay motivated. In our weight loss example, measuring pounds lost or tracking calorie intake provides concrete data that illustrates your journey. A study from the Dominican University of California found that individuals who wrote down their goals were 42% more likely to achieve them, highlighting the power of measurement. Achievable goals are crucial as well. While it's great to be ambitious, setting unattainable goals can lead to discouragement. The goal of losing 10 pounds is achievable within the set timeframe, given proper dedication and planning. Think about what skills and resources you have and ensure your goals align with them. Relevance is about aligning your goals with your broader life objectives. A goal should matter to you personally, enhancing motivation. For example, losing weight can be relevant if your overall objective is to improve health or increase energy levels. When goals resonate with personal values, they become more compelling. Finally, we must consider time-bound goals. A deadline creates urgency, prompting action. Our weight loss goal becomes more pressing when it's tied to a specific date. For example, you might aim to be down 10 pounds by a family event or vacation. This approach fosters urgency and forces individuals to take action rather than defer tasks. Creating a roadmap with SMART goals doesn't just guide individuals, it also instills a sense of achievement. Consider Jessica, who wanted to write a book. Initially, she was overwhelmed. However, breaking the process into SMART goals transformed her journey. She set a goal to write 500 words a day for 30 days, making her dream tangible. By tracking her progress, she celebrated small victories, which built her confidence and reduced her tendency to procrastinate. Ultimately, the right goals can act as your compass, guiding you away from procrastination and toward completion. But remember, setting goals is not a one-time event. It requires regular reflection and adjustments as necessary. Are your goals still relevant? Are you tracking progress effectively? By continually assessing your goals, you will find yourself on a more productive path. Procrastination doesn't just hold us back, it can significantly derail our success in life. When we procrastinate, we create a cycle where tasks accumulate, leading to stress and anxiety. This cycle can interfere with our personal and professional goals, impacting our livelihood and relationships. A study by the University of Chicago found that chronic procrastinators often earn less than their more punctual peers, largely due to missed deadlines and lower quality work. Imagine a promising student who consistently puts off studying until the night before exams. Instead of achieving the grades they are capable of, they're left scrambling, often settling for mediocrity. Procrastination creates a false sense of urgency that might lead to short-term bursts of productivity but ultimately results in long-term failure. Understanding the procrastination cycle is crucial if we want to break free from its grips. The cycle begins with a task that seems daunting, leading to feelings of avoidance. This avoidance creates a temporary relief, but as deadlines loom, anxiety builds. You may be asking, how can we escape this cycle? It starts with awareness. Once we identify the tasks we tend to procrastinate on, we can analyze our feelings toward them. For instance, a writer might put off a chapter because they fear criticism, leading to a pattern of inaction and guilt. But, if they were to take small steps, writing just a paragraph a day, they could begin to break the cycle. This gradual approach reduces anxiety and creates momentum toward completion. Over time, this leads to a feeling of accomplishment that can replace the urge to procrastinate, setting a new cycle in motion, one of productivity and motivation. Setting clear, actionable goals is a powerful way to combat procrastination. When we have a roadmap, we reduce the overwhelming feeling associated with tasks. An effective technique is the SMART goals framework: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. For instance, instead of saying, "I want to write a book," a SMART goal would be, "I will write 500 words each weekday for the next month." This clarity not only makes the goal achievable but also breaks it down into manageable pieces. But why stop there? Regularly reviewing and adjusting your goals can keep you on track and motivated. Studies show that individuals who write down their goals are 42% more likely to achieve them. Set aside time each week to review progress and adjust your plans. This ongoing reflection creates a sense of accountability that can diminish procrastination significantly. By turning abstract ambitions into concrete plans, we significantly lower the threat that procrastination poses to our success. Procrastination is more than just a bad habit, it can have profound emotional consequences. When we delay important tasks, the weight of unfinished business hangs over us like a storm cloud, casting shadows on our mental well-being. Experts suggest that procrastination leads to feelings of guilt, anxiety, and even depression. Research has shown that individuals who frequently procrastinate experience heightened levels of stress, which can compound depressive symptoms. In fact, a study published in the journal Personality and Individual Differences found that procrastinators reported lower life satisfaction and higher levels of distress. Take the case of Sarah, a university student who continually put off assignments until the last minute. This cycle created an emotional roller coaster for her. Each day, she felt the pressure mount, leading to sleepless nights and anxiety. Instead of focusing on her coursework, she would scroll through social media or binge-watch shows, losing hours in the process. This not only affected her grades but also deepened her feelings of inadequacy and frustration. Sarah's story is not unique. The fear of failure often drives procrastination. It creates a protective barrier against the risks of putting oneself out there. People may avoid completing a project because they worry that the result won't meet their expectations or the standards of others. This fear can be paralyzing. As noted by psychologist Dr. Timothy Pychyl, procrastination is a way of coping with negative emotions associated with the task at hand. In another example, Tom, an aspiring writer, found himself paralyzed by the prospect of publishing his first novel. He would spend countless hours rewriting the opening chapter, anxious that the final product wouldn't be good enough. This constant cycle of revision without completion caused him to spiral down a path of self-doubt. His friends urged him to just finish the draft, but Tom's fear of judgment kept him stuck in his own mind. Emotional tolls of procrastination aren't limited to personal stories. They can be seen across various professional settings. In a workplace context, when employees procrastinate, stress levels rise, leading to burnout, decreased productivity, and lower morale. A report from the American Psychological Association showed that roughly 20% of workers procrastinate on a daily basis, which can lead to toxic work environments and even high turnover rates. Employers face a unique challenge when addressing procrastination among their staff. To combat these emotional ramifications, it's essential to recognize procrastination as a symptom rather than the problem itself. Individuals must learn to identify their emotions related to procrastination. Facing these feelings directly can lead to significant changes in behavior. It might be helpful to keep a journal detailing daily tasks, feelings associated with those tasks, and the reasons behind procrastination. This self-awareness can illuminate patterns and provide clues for moving forward. As we delve deeper into how to combat procrastination, the next chapter will explore the role of self-discipline and the routines that can be established to break the cycle of delay. How can simple habits create a more productive life? Stay tuned as we uncover practical methods to transform procrastination into action. Resilience is often described as the ability to bounce back from challenges, but it also includes the capacity to maintain focus and drive amidst distractions and setbacks. We live in a world brimming with distractions, making it increasingly difficult to stay committed to tasks. Procrastination, in its essence, is a failure to sustain focus over time. However, cultivating resilience can empower individuals to push through moments of inertia and uncertainty. Consider the story of John, a software engineer who continually faced deadlines that seemed to loom larger than life. Every time a project approached its due date, he found himself veering off course, checking emails, scrolling through news feeds, just about anything to avoid the pressing tasks at hand. However, John decided he was tired of the endless cycle of stress and disappointment. He enrolled in a resilience training program that taught him techniques not just for managing his time, but for enhancing his mental toughness. One of the key strategies he adopted was breaking tasks into smaller, manageable pieces, allowing him to celebrate small victories along the way. Research from the University of Pennsylvania shows that resilience training techniques can significantly reduce procrastination. In studies, participants who practiced goal setting, mindfulness, and reflective journaling demonstrated notable improvements in productivity. Building resilience involves developing habits that enable individuals to endure setbacks and tackle challenges without succumbing to delay. Another profound technique John discovered was the implementation of a failure resume. Unlike a traditional resume that highlights accomplishments, this document cataloged failures and how he learned from them. This practice not only transformed how he viewed setbacks but reinforced his commitment to persevere rather than procrastinate. Moreover, social support plays a crucial role in fostering resilience. Encouragement from friends, mentors, or colleagues can inspire action and reduce the inclination to procrastinate. John joined a local coding group where members held each other accountable for their coding projects. They shared progress weekly, creating a community that celebrated successes and tackled challenges together. As John began to implement these practices, he noticed a shift in his overall productivity and mental clarity. Tasks that had seemed daunting now felt achievable. Resilience allowed him to embrace challenges head-on rather than avoiding them. Resilience isn't just a trait, it can be cultivated through dedicated effort and a willingness to change. The journey toward overcoming procrastination may require venturing into uncomfortable territories. However, by embracing resilience, you develop the capacity to push past procrastination and thrive in the face of life's inevitable challenges. In the subsequent chapter, we will explore how building a strong support system can reinforce the resilience we cultivate. What are the tools and people we can lean on to